13. Invest in single-family rental houses. Robert Chambers. Robert Chambers has written a weekly syndicated real estate mailbag question and answer real estate column for more than 20 years. He is the author of The Smart Investor's Guide to Real Estate and co-author with Dr. William Fiver of the college textbook, California Real Estate Lore. The best real estate advice I ever received came from two sources. The first was how I turned $1,000 into $1 million in real estate in my spare time by William Nicholson, a paperback book I bought in a Sydney, Australia hotel gift shop in 1963. That book ruined the rest of my vacation. I couldn't put it down. Even as I visited the beautiful Fuji Islands, Tahiti, and Hawaii on my return trip, it was the most fascinating book I had ever read, and it later became a bestseller and changed thousands of readers' living, including mine, because it gave a blueprint for real estate investment success. Bill Nicholson revealed in detail how he and his wife, Lucy, started investing in one small piece of rental property and pyramided their tax-deferred wealth into millions of equity dollars. Today, only a few public libraries still have that race book. Used copies now cost as much as $100. That book provided the formula for my real estate investment success. I started by acquiring a 3-family triplex, borrowing the $5,000 down payment from my parents. Yes, I paid the $5,000 back, and pyramiding that investment into apartment buildings. I briefly detoured for a few years by selling investment properties as a real estate broker in San Francisco. But I quickly discovered that while real estate sales commissions provide immediate income, long-term security is provided by real estate investments. The second source of the best real estate advice I ever received came about in an unusual way. In 1972, I was at the coffee shop counter at the Sheraton Princess Kalani Hotel in Honolulu, reading a real estate newspaper article. A Pan Am pilot sitting next to me said, "I see you're interested in real estate, so am I." That began our conversation about which type of real estate was the best investment. He favored single-family rental houses and told me about an amazing real estate seminar he has recently attended. I cannot emphasize the importance of taking every real estate course possible, especially when starting out in real estate investing. I've taken virtually all the real estate courses offered by our local California Community College, College of San Mateo. Later taught many of those courses, and even co-authored with Professor William Fiver a college textbook on California real estate law, now it in 6th edition, 2006. Whether you enrolled in a one-day learning annex class, and a weekend seminar, or a semester college course, it is a great way to quickly learn from experienced instructors and avoid making costly real estate investment mistakes. About a month after I met that Pan Am pilot, I took the seminar he had recommended, Making Its Bid on Little Deals with John Schwab and Jack Miller in Reno, Nevada. I recall the instructions joking that real estate is no gamble if you know what you're doing. Then they explained why single-family rental houses are the best long-term real estate investment for average investor like that Pam and Pilot and me. At the time, I owned a modest San Francisco apartment building that I had fixed up. I had personally painted every apartment in my spare time because I couldn't afford to hire a professional painter and was ready to rapidly trade up for a larger property in a tax-deferred 1030 exchange, although that Straub-Miller seminar almost convinced me to switch my strategy from one of tax-deferred pyramiding to larger buildings to a strategy of buying and holding diversified rental houses. I still was not convinced. However, one evening shortly after dinner, my home phone rang with angry calls from most of the tenants in my apartment building informed me that they had no heat. My resident managers had gone out for the evening, and my tenants had my unlisted home phone number. Big mistake. In San Francisco, lack of heat even in August, while most of the nation's swelters, is a big deal. As Mark Twain was credited with saying, "The coldest winter I ever spent was a summer in San Francisco." The next day, I had the boiler repaired, and my tenants were happy again. But that event convinced me that I didn't want to have all my eggs in one apartment building basket. Although I watched that basket very carefully, so I decided to follow the Straub-Miller formula, sell my apartment building, and acquire single-family rental houses instead. That plan paid off big time. As Straub and Miller taught me at their seminar, it is much easier to buy, finance, manage, and profitably resell single-family rental houses than any other type of real estate investment property. After switching to single-family rental houses, I was able to manage tenants and tenants, one house at a time. Instead of having employees, I hired independent contractors such as handymen, plumbers, roofers, and others to work as needed. If a worker performed unsatisfactorily, I didn't call him again. I never had to fire an employee because I had none. Equally important, when there is a problem as one rental house, it affects only one tenant. Yes, I've had problems such as flush of sewer pipes, but the problem didn't affect the entire building of unhappy tenants like that night. My apartment building boiler malfunctioned. Over the years, I've bought and sold many rental houses at substantial profits, frequently carrying back instruments, sell mortgages for my buyers, and create future income for me without any work except depositing the monthly mortgage checks. Often, I sold my rental houses to my tenants on lease options. They got a good deal, with generous rent credits for part of their rent paid to me. My lease option benefits were higher than normal rent plus sale upon sale mortgage interest income for future years. I shall always be grateful to William Nicholson for the great advice in how I turned $1,000 into $1 million in real estate in my spare time. He showed me how to become wealthy by investing in residential real estate. Equally important, John Straub, author of Building Wealth One House at a Time, McGraw-Hill, 2004, and Jack Miller taught me that single-family rental houses are the best investment for the average investor because houses are so easy to buy, finance, manage, and profitably sell. 14. A common sense approach to foreclosure properties. M. Anthony Carr. M. Anthony Carr has worked in the real estate industry as an investor, agent, real estate trainer, syndicated columnist, and author since 1989. He is the former real estate editor for the Washington Times and author of Real Estate Investing Made Simple, a common sense approach to building wealth. The best real estate advice I've received is that when you approach a distressed seller to purchase a foreclosure property, you be wise to develop a working relationship with that person as soon as possible. Let him know you are there as an investor to help him avoid foreclosure and put cash in his pocket. Plenty of would-be investors want to profit by purchasing foreclosure properties. They usually get this idea from some late-night television infomercial, and it germinates into an email to me about how to get started. Truly, foreclosures are the way to quick money for those who get the property at a price or condition and turn around and sell it for a large profit. The challenge is that many times you're up against several other investors at the courthouse steps who want to do the same thing. Do what others are not doing, and you will increase your profits tremendously. Go for foreclosures. These are the true diamonds in the rough of residential investment real estate. They are more profitable because you are dealing with distressed owners who are willing to sell the property at a large discount to save themselves from ruin credit, embarrassment, and financial stress. In the foreclosure world, you're working with estate and foreclosure lawyers who have no emotion connected to the transaction whatsoever. They are looking for one thing: to get as much money for the note as possible, pay off the mortgage, and turn the property over to the new owner. The first step is to search for notice of default (NOD) records at the county courthouse. This document is sent to the owner of the property who has a mortgage in default. The property owner is now headed to foreclosure and has only a few weeks to reinstate the mortgage or lose his home. By investigating these records, you will find the property owner who is willing to negotiate now before your competitors move in at the courthouse steps. You can't wait long. The deadline is quickly approaching once the NOD has been issued. The second step is to move swiftly to line up an appointment with the owner. You want to see if he is ready to negotiate a transaction that will allow him to avoid foreclosure, protect his credit, and put money in his pocket. However, you will be dealing with a plethora of emotions from the property owner: denial that he is really in big trouble, anger that you're trying to profit from his financial woes, unrealistic expectations that you will somehow give him a loan, let him rent back the house, or pay full price for the house. Learn quickly to deal with these emotions, that is, operate from a purely professional, cautious point of view with the offer of helping him through this dilemma. Your aim is to get the owner's name off the deed and get your name on it, thus stopping the foreclosure by bringing the current note up to date or paying off the old mortgage company, as well as any taxes or liens that may be on the deed. The third step is to be properly prepared before approaching the foreclosure owner by having lined up the following: acquisition money, cash, or a mortgage; refurbishing money, the same as above; a reliable home inspector to find out what fit-up expenses you have to deal with; contractors ready and able to move on the property in a matter of days; a settlement attorney to do title search and closing. You want to get cash to the distressed seller, but figuring out the appropriate amount is challenge. You first need to know how large the loan-to-value is on the current notes or notes. In your calculation on whether or not the deal will work, you need to determine the fair market value of the house once it's been fixed up, acquisition cost, closing fees, area range, fees of expensive, marketing fees, and then your profit. Your target is to make at least 15 to 25% on the sub price of the house, or it may not be worth with your while. As a foreclosure investor, you want a large enough profit margin so that once you've acquired the house, a hidden defect doesn't eat up on your gain. 15. Choose a real estate agent wisely. Rick Castle. Rick Castle is the founder of Real Estate Coaches and a columnist for Real Times, Broker Agent Magazine, Frog Pond, and Broker Agent News. The best real estate advice I ever received was to choose your real estate agent wisely. Remember, marketing and advertising alone do not sell homes. When it is time to put your home on the market, whatever your motivation may be, selecting a real estate agent is your first and most important move. But what should your selection criteria be? With agents charging up to 7% commission to sell your home, this becomes a critical decision. You want the one agent who is going to command the highest price for your home and sell it quickly with the fewest headaches for you. Here is what you should look for. 1. Market knowledge. This agent is teaming with you to protect your rated asset, your home. How knowledgeable is the agent about the market? Ask where he sees interest rates going in the next 6 to 12 months. What does the supply of homes look like? And what will the future supply be? An educated agent will give his view and quote his sources about the future of the market. 2. Negotiation skills. The majority of agents lack this skill. Ask prospective agents to explain step by step how they are going to negotiate the highest price for the home from receipt of the offer to the counter offers until acceptance. Be prepared to see some blank stares. The industry is not well trained here. An agent should understand the importance of working with a buyer's agent because the buyer is critical. This negotiation is not about posturing, it is about win-win. Skilled negotiators back up the counteroffers with evidence proving that the price is an amazing deal for the buyer. Finding an agent with a negotiation plan will be tough but worthwhile. 3. Pricing strategy. Too many agents do not understand proper pricing. It does not matter how houses have sold for. What matters is your competition. When you purchase your current home, you did not compare it to houses that were already sold and not on the market. You looked at all the houses in your price range currently on the market, and you made my buying decision. Make sure the agent's pricing strategy is based on what buyers are going to compare your home to, including new construction, because it is competing for your buyers also. An agent who leaves out new construction in the market analysis is overlooking major competition. 4. Home enhancement. Without spending extra money, an agent should be able to rearrange your home for you to make viewing. If the agent doesn't do that, he should have a property stature portfolio to show you before and after listing pictures. When competing for that buyer who is going to give you the best price, home enhancement could be a critical piece that sways him or her. The multiple listing services provided by the marketing. Remember, when you purchase your home, you most likely look at all the ones in your price range and choose the one with the most value. When did the property advertising come in? Agents who try to win you over with their marketing plan truly do not understand what is most important in getting the best price.